Football is back, baby! Thursday, Hall of Fame game, Texans, Bears, and we'll be live right here on Texans Today. So join me this Thursday, about an hour before kickoff. We'll get the festivities going. Make sure you hit that sub button and make sure you turn on your noties because we are going to have a live watch party for this game, breaking down every play. There with you, having fun. All Texans fans, I need you to be there. And if you're pumped up for this Thursday's game, the first Texans action of the year, smash that like button. I should see thousands of likes on this video because if you're not pumped up, if your blood's not going, I know it's the preseason game. I know the starters won't play a lot, but we're actually going to see the Texans play some football in their brand new jerseys. So if you're pumped for that, go down and smash that like button. Welcome into today's show. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and on today's program, we are breaking down a Bleacher Report article from a couple days ago that is littered with Houston Texans and trade ideas. And I really wanted to bring this article back up and kind of talk about it, especially with the news that happened yesterday. If you didn't catch our show yesterday, it's still on the channel. You can go watch that as well. But Denico Autry suspended for the first 6 games of the season for violating the league's PED policy. We won't be able to see Autry until week 7 of the season. So do the Texans need to make a move? Do they need to add somebody for defensive tackle? Well, this Bleacher Report article actually suggested the Texans trade this for this former second-round pick, Phidarian Mathis. The Texans, like I said, still need some defensive tackle help. Could they trade for him before the season starts? Now, whenever you see his stats pop up on screen, it's nothing, to wow about. It's not like crazy stats whatsoever, but he got injured his first year, only played 1 game out of Alabama, and then this past season, played in 10 games, was injured off and on the field, and then was really stuck behind those 2 front guys they have in Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. So really didn't get any chance to play for the Commanders last season. Whenever we look at this Texans defensive line depth chart, I think it's been settled in. I actually need to change it moving forward. I think Mario Edwards is going to end up stepping in to start for Denico Autry if no move is made. I believe it's going to be Mario Edwards Jr. who steps into the starting role there, and then you have Davis and Settle as the backup options there on the interior. But it's a lot of unknowns. I know Mario Edwards is a veteran in this league, and I know he's a good player, but still a lot of unknowns. So if you can get Phidarian Mathis for a 7th-round pick, I might kick the tires on that. That might be a decent deal for the Texans. You're not really giving up a lot, and you get another body in training camp, another defensive tackle. Of course, if J.J. Watt doesn't want to come back, J.J., we still want you. We still want you, J.J. But if this trade was put up to you for the Houston Texans, let me know what you would say. Would you do this trade? Yes or no? Phidarian Mathis for a 7th-round pick? Let me know down in the comment section what you would do. Now, let's get into the trades that were actually involving Texans players, them sending guys out. And I didn't agree with a couple of them. This is one of the ones that I actually did not agree with. They had Noah Brown going to the Saints in this trade article, and I don't necessarily love that idea. Last year, Noah Brown had a sneaky good season, 33 receptions, 567 yards, 2 touchdowns on the year. Obviously, was injured off and on and got injured during the playoff run for the Houston Texans last year. But this is what Bleacher Report actually had to say on Noah Brown. Noah Brown is coming off an underrated season in Houston. Brown excels with the ball in his hands and had the 4th highest YAC score from ESPN Analytics receiver tracking stats. He was also one of the more efficient receivers in the league, averaging 10.3 yards per target and was 4th in yards per reception. So obviously a very underrated receiver, really good when he's on the field, and then they follow that up with, yeah, the Texans are going to give him away for a 6th-round pick. What? Why would we give away a great asset like that in Noah Brown for a 6th-round pick? In my opinion, I hate this trade, and I hate this trade idea because you're giving up quality depth for nothing. I mean, you don't need a 6th-round pick next year. You might need an extra wide receiver on your depth chart once it gets late into the season and once you go through the trials and tribulations. Maybe there's an injury, maybe there's something. But I'd much rather have that depth and not need it than have injuries and then not have the depth anymore? Why would you trade away Noah Brown, especially with how well he's been playing in camp lately? I know you have your top 3 guys and you have a really good receiving core, but I mean, if a team wants Noah Brown that bad, I'm not willing to trade him for anything less than a 2nd or 3rd round pick. I know that's a steep price, but the Texans are in win now mode. You don't need a future 6th, 7th round pick. So I don't need Nick Caserio to acquire those picks and give away solid depth pieces for this Texans team. Now, coming up, I actually have 2 more trades that Bleacher Report laid out involving Texans players. I'll let you know who those guys are in just a moment. But if you haven't already, go check out our sponsor of today's show. It is Game Time, the go-to ticketing app for me and Texans fans alike. I've been using Game Time for a while, and it's my go-to ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and comedy shows. This year alone, I've been to multiple baseball games. I've seen Dave Chappelle. I've seen Adele in Las Vegas, and I plan on going to a ton more shows and events and games this season using Game Time. Don't miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime experience by using the Game Time app to get you the best deals on last-second tickets. Buy tickets in 2 seconds with just 2 taps. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Now, the next guy they mentioned was Robert Woods, and Woods has been no stranger to trade speculation this offseason because obviously the Texans added a lot of talent, and they have guys coming back. Second-year player in Tank Dell who looks to make a move forward. Nico Collins just got an extension, and then they trade for Stephon Diggs. You have Mechie in really his 2nd year in the league, really showing more stuff, and then you re-sign Noah Brown to a 1-year deal. So this wide receiver room is pretty loaded, and you add on top of that, they traded for Ben Skoranek earlier in the offseason. So Robert Woods being traded, this is not a new concept. This is not a new idea. And this is the trade they laid out, a 2025 6th-round pick for Robert Woods and a 2025 7th-round pick. And honestly, for this deal, this is a trade I could get behind because more than likely, you're probably going to cut Robert Woods. So at the end of the day, if you can get a pick swap, if you can move up in next year's draft for nothing, really a guy that you were going to let go of anyways, I would 100% do that deal if I was Nick Caserio and the Houston Texans moving forward, just because I don't think Robert Woods ends up making the final 53 for this team this year. The last trade idea they laid out was Dameon Pierce to the Dallas Cowboys. They think that obviously the Cowboys need some running back depth, and Dameon Pierce could fit a hole for him. Well, there's one problem there. Dameon Pierce has been getting the RB1 reps for the Houston Texans while Joe Mixon is injured, and he's been looking really good in camp. And the trade idea that they had, which they're in love with just player for late-round pick, player for 6th-round pick, player for 7th-round pick in this article, and I hate it. I hate it. And there's one thing that I have to say to Bleacher Report and everybody who keeps on saying the Texans are going to trade Dameon Pierce for a bag of peanuts. No, they're not going to trade Dameon Pierce for a 6th or 7th round pick. That's idiotic, especially when you have Mixon who hasn't really practiced a lot during training camp yet. And everybody's been saying during camp, DeMeco Ryans, the coaching staff, has said Dameon Pierce looks fantastic. And once you get behind Dameon Pierce and Joe Mixon, there's not a lot of legs to stand on in this Texans depth chart. You have Jawar Jordan, you have J.J. Taylor, British Brooks, Agumbawale, but none of those guys are really like starting quality guys at this moment right now. Dameon Pierce, we know, can be at least a serviceable starter in this league. So say it with me now. The Texans aren't trading Dameon Pierce. They're not going to do it because they need him in their backfield. They need him as insurance if anything happens with Joe Mixon. There's no way this Texans team trades Dameon Pierce right now unless they get blown away by an offer. And even then, like I said, the Texans are in win-now mode. They think that they can do something this year. So why are you giving up pieces for bags of peanuts for a run that maybe you'll have in a couple years? The run is this year. The run is right now. So you keep those players, you keep those quality depth guys for this team for later on in the season. God forbid anything happens to any of our players. Now, If you want to continue the conversation, you can always hit me up. My DMs are always open on X at Jeremy Chuggs and on IG at Jeremy_Chuggs. And don't forget, this Thursday in the Thunderdome. Just kidding. Here on Texans Today, we're going live, so make sure you are here. Make sure you are ready for Texans Bears preseason action.